right. So, okay. All right. So, like I said, so I'm going to tell you the three uh, intelligence that I used this morning just to get here today, just so I could teach this class. First one, human. Yes, sir. Human. That's the first human intelligence, right? And that was me getting into the car, turning the car on, adjusting my mirrors, turning on my seat warmer, and my steering wheel warmer. Right? That was the first thing. Checked all my mirrors, got everything right. Now, when I got on the highway, because I had to get on the highway to get here, I used artificial intelligence. And what that was I'm on the highway, I hit the button. The button is for the autonomous driving. So that's the autonomous driving. Now, when I get off the highway, I start to use my augmented intelligence. What is that? That's when I get off the highway and on my passenger side, it beeps because I'm going too far over in the left lane, which is my blind spot detector. So you got your blind spot detector. Also, I had my motion detector on my steering wheel. It won't even let me get over in that lane without showing some resistance. So I had some steering wheel. Not even sure what that's called, but it's some form of blind spot detection as well. So just to get here, I use three forms of intelligence. I used artificial because I didn't have to do anything with that. I did not have to interact. I pressed the button, it got me there. When a car came out in front of me on the highway, it stopped and it went the other way. When I got off the highway, my augmented, it helps me more because, like I said, it's just to help us more, right? It's not going to do it for me. It's going to help me more. So it beep, 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 beep. Even though it gave me resistance, I still had to do something. I still had to get in the other lane, right? So I had to work with it. So when you're thinking about uh, artificial versus augmented, you can think of it like this. Artificial, you're gonna use some form of computer, okay, and then you have a human. With artificial intelligence, you need the computer, but you don't need the human. With augmented intelligence, you still had a computer. Got to have that. But you also have to have the person because it don't work without the person. Right? So that's pretty much your differences between artificial and augmented. Now, we didn't talk about the difference between artificial, and human. Let's do a matrix of artificial and human real quick. You got your artificial and your human. Let's do a positive matrix. With artificial intelligence, what that's going to give you for sure is it's going to give you the highest rate about ingesting information. Nobody can ingest more than AI. A person is impossible. It's impossible for a person to digest more, right? Also, it doesn't get tired, right? It's a freaking machine. It's not gonna get tired. Repetition. It is a pro at repetition, right? So spreadsheets, things of that nature, any of those things, it's gonna outdo you. And it's gonna be accurate. If it does something 1,000 times, it's gonna be accurate. But we're still humans. So this is what makes it so good, is because we're still general informationals, right? And what that means is we put things in, if it's a large picture, we compartmentalize them first. We make them smaller, right? So that's the first thing about humans. The second thing about humans that is our creativity. I don't know how much longer we'll have that though. But, and what I mean is it might just be a different word. Right? That's what I think. I think that the word creativity is gonna mean something completely different in 10 years because of AI. And then And then you have another thing, which is emotional intelligence. And I'm gonna say that if you prompt it the right way in a couple years with AGI coming, it might have an emotional intelligence. So who knows? But so those are some of the things right there when it comes to artificial intelligence, human intelligence, and augmented intelligence. I'm gonna do one more thing, and then we're gonna get up out of here. I want to show you guys about machine learning. And machine learning is pretty much just that. It learns, it processes information. That's all learning MLs do. So when we talk about machine learning, I'm gonna give you 5 cases of things that happen. Actually, I'm gonna give you 10 cases of things that happen every day, right? And I'm not gonna hold you to death. So the first one is, first of all, machine learning is a $200 billion industry, right? And what that means is that it's everywhere. And I'm gonna show you where it is. The first one I'm gonna show you is customer service. Customer service. I'm not gonna write everything. I see that takes all day. Customer service. That's where you got chat bots. And if you don't know what a chat bot is, that's when you call your bank or you on the website of the bank and you put in your information and something pops up at the bottom and it says, do you want to chat? And then you go into it, it asks you questions, then you tell it answers, and then you go from there, and hopefully you don't have to talk to a person and you get your issue resolved. Customer service uses that the most, okay? That is what you're going to be using the most in customer service. Second is voice. Talking about voice assistants. And when we talk about voice assistants, we're talking about Siri's, we're talking about Alexa, we're talking about auto transcription. If you talking into your phone, then when we talked about them NLPs, that's what we're talking about when we talk about this. So anything voice activated, right? Number three, we're gonna go with mobile apps. Mobile apps are some powerful things. On your mobile apps, we talking about like Spotify, and when it gives you a recommendation for another song, or YouTube, if you put something in there in your Instagram, and then you in your YouTube, it'll come back up on there. If you're looking at maybe trying to buy furniture or something in YouTube, I mean in Instagram, it'll pop up on your YouTube. Those are mobile apps. Four, the other thing that we always love to have with us, that's our mobile phone. That is the biggest machine learning that we use constantly. And what I talk about that is I'm talking about um, um, face recognition to get in your phone. Taking the glare out of the picture when you're taking a picture. Um, thumbprint recognition. All of those are learning modules. Those are machine learning. All of those are learning modules. Those are just learning. That's all it does is just learn. So we talking about face recognition. We talking about thumbprints. We even talking about searching for photos. When I put in there, I got 10,000 photos, and when I put in there Owen on the motorcycle, about 30 pictures gonna show up instead of 150 of them where it's Owen, right? Um, and then the next one that people forget to talk about is the banking system, currency. And what do you mean by that, Omar? What I mean by that is over 150 million credit card transactions happen in a day in the United States of America. That's 1,739 a second. There's no way a person can go in and make sure that all 150 million of those are not fraudulent, right? So now we're using this to protect banks from fraud. We're using it so that we know that it's real currency, right? That we're dealing with, meaning that if I say that if I have a check, I take a picture of it and I send it to my bank, they have things in place that's going to see if that's a real check or not. Sooner or later, it's not going to be a human that finds it. It's going to be an app that finds that. Sooner or later, it might not get you this week, but sooner or later, the algorithm's going to get you because it's a machine learn. It learns. It knows what it is. Let me give you 5 more quick ones and then we'll get out of here. The next one is going to be cybersecurity. That's number 6. That's cybersecurity. And when I'm talking about cybersecurity, I'm talking about train for cyber attacks. These are for cyber attacks. Why can't I spell attack? Anyway, cyber attacks, right? So that's so that when this right here fails, the cyber comes in now because you might got away with the check for a minute at a time, but what this is trying to do is make sure that these people that are trying to get in here don't get your fake check, right? So you got your banking that's over here that's trying to make sure that the consumer's not getting over, and then you got somebody over here that's trying to make sure that they're protected by the consumer. The consumer is being protected. Now you have number 7, which I think that a lot of people forget, and that is transportation. And when we talk about transportation, we talk about Lyft, Uber, algorithms that will say, okay, if DJ needs to go downtown, it's going to take him 15 minutes and there's traffic on there, so it might take him 18 minutes. Actually, it's another person that wants to join. So now it's going to take 25 minutes. Now you got 5 different lists of things that you can do. You can go X, you can go Black, you can go share ride. You can do all of those things just depending on how much you want to pay because of the algorithm created that. The machine learning, the learning machine created that. Now you got 8, which is probably one that we forget about because we use it so much, and that's email. We forget that we use email so much. It's a learning system. That's why you're able to put all of your stuff in junk. That's why it goes there before you. It's not the same email that goes in junk. That's a different email, but it looked like that other email that was in junk. So have you ever heard somebody be like, "I sent you something. Check your spam"? That's because that looked just like this. That email she sent looked just like this, and my learning system is not gonna let that junk get in my inbox, right? And then you got other stuff like you forget about, like auto response. I'm not here. I'm not here until this day to this day. And then when I get back, I don't have to go back in there and do it. It does it by itself, right? We got number 9. We almost out of here, and this is one of the ones that is taking off right now. Healthcare. People are not just using IR. And IR is when a doctor does not have to give you an X-ray. He can put on goggles and he can kind of, it's not going to be your body, but he can see how your body's distorted in the inside. So instead of having to go through an X-ray machine, he can kind of put these on and see if you leaning like this, that your arch is probably going that way. And it's for things like heart rate machines, predictions. If you come in the hospital and your blood is under a certain something, then they're going to be able to put you on a machine that's going to predict if you're going to lose more or go up or down or whatever the situation is. And number 10, the final one is um, if you're in business, you probably forget that this is the number one thing in your business. But this is probably going to be, if you're running a business that is going to scale, is going to be your marketing and your media. And what these do is these going to give recommendations. So if I know that 30% of our product is selling that is peanut butter, and 90% of our product is selling that is chocolate chip, we probably want to put more into our chocolate chip, right? And what's going to happen is when those people that buy peanut butter now, our marketing team is going to have a machine learning that when they buy peanut butter, that you get a discount, or if you buy chocolate chip, you get a coupon for peanut butter. So that's what they do. That's how machine learning systems work. Hopefully these helped. Next time we're going to learn about chat boxes, because I think those are really going to be what's going to set us apart. Our small businesses are what's going to set us apart for the mom and pops. I'm telling you, a chat box is going to be able to conduct business without you, and it's going to be able to give your customers the same service that you will be getting from yourself. All right, it's a tech coach out. Do that thing. Have a good one. Woo! A lot of talking.